This episode is brought to you by Whitaker Garage Doors, your one-stop shop for all things garage doors, proudly based in Peekskill, New York. Your home is a direct reflection of your personal style, and let's face it, your garage doors are the first thing people see when they pull up your driveway. Whether you're looking for the timeless charm of a classic carriage house door or the clean, sleek look of a basic wood finish, Whitaker Garage Doors offers traditional options for every taste and budget. I can personally vouch for their incredible service. When I had my own garage doors done, I was blown away by their timeliness, professionalism, and overall respect for their clients. Jonathan, Cassara, and their entire team are top-notch, and they really go the extra mile to ensure you're happy with the final result. So if you're in the market for a new garage door or need some repairs, give them a call or find them on Instagram at Whitaker_doors. Don't forget to tell them you're a friend of Dave's over at the No Snooze podcast. Whitaker Doors. You won't regret it. Now, back to the Epi. Adversity? Bring it. The struggle? I welcome it. Snooze on life? Never that. I am Dave Regina, and this is the No Snooze podcast. Come on. Welcome back, No Snooze Podcast, episode 262. As always, I'm in the booth with a very, very, very special three. We have Claudio the Voice, Valenzuela. We have Catherine.
Hi.
Katie Girl, my queen, Cepeda, and I am Dave, the Body, Regina. Listen, if you are here for the very first time, we just want to welcome you. The No Snooze podcast is essentially a call to action to wake up and attack everything that you do, because we truly believe that you have two options. Number one, you go back to sleep on your dreams and aspirations, or you wake up and attack. So that is what we do. You're in for a very, very special treat today. I have my beautiful girlfriend of 2+ years that we are welcoming back to the show. And just to give you guys an update, if you have not checked out episode 177, you can get more of a formal introduction on my beautiful queen here. But she does so much. She is an author, entrepreneur, has vast experience in both the corporate world as well as network marketing. She does a lot of speaking, a lot of coaching. She's been around when it comes to the professional side of things. And I just want to tell you before we get started that I love you. I am so grateful for you. I love the way that you not only love me, but the way that you love on Callie Girl, my daughter. You treat her as if she's yours. And truly, I don't want to get into this episode because you might start fighting with me, CV. She might start fighting with me. So before we do that, I have to lay the groundwork and just tell you, thank you so much.
I love you, and I'm so grateful for you. And of course, it's my pleasure. It's so easy to love you guys. It's so easy to just be with you guys on a day-to-day basis, and you guys have really changed my life in a way.
Oh, beautiful. I'm going to tell you, just so the listeners can hear that, they're not going to want to go like this every time you speak, so you got to talk up, baby girl. All right, so it's funny. We actually put up on Instagram a couple just like teasers of us with a couple photos saying like, hey, drop your questions in. So we had some funny ones come in. So we're going to take the listeners' questions, and I basically tried to filter it so where we're going to start essentially from the beginning of the relationship, because a little backstory here. When we first recorded episode 177, we were dating, but I don't think we really put it out there publicly. We made some like innuendos that we were, but is that accurate?
Yeah, it hadn't even been like a full month that we were together, so.
Yeah, it was very, very new. So we didn't put that out there, but all right. So
wait, before we get started,
yeah,
and this will be the first and last time I speak for the rest of the show.
No, you're good.
when am I going to get an intro as loving as that one? I want one of those.
Listen, I love you, and I'm grateful for
Not
you.
to be all jelly and stuff, but
I know,
that was the introduction
I
of
know.
introductions, man.
Listen, man, it's the truth, you know, and I would be remiss not to take the opportunity to love on you publicly the way that I do privately. You're a major blessing in our lives, and I just want to be clear on that, and truly just so grateful for you. All right, so this one is great, and it says, why did she originally leave you on red when you first DM'd her? So I'll give the backstory. You kind of jump in so we can go back and forth on it. But I guess at the beginning when we started dating, I was kind of fresh out of a new relationship, about a year or so. 2 years at the time once we officially started. But I guess when I originally DM'd you, you were not aware that I was no longer in a relationship. So she played me, bro. She left me on red for a while. I'm actually going to throw it over to you to give the context here.
Yeah, well, he had originally DM'd me like probably 2 years prior to that. Very, kind and everything. You were saying how, we should go to the beach and then at the time I was in a relationship. So indirectly, I was like, yeah, I can bring my boyfriend. He also does a podcast. And he just like completely dismissed that. Then months after, 2 years later, I would say that August of 2023, I get a DM saying, we should do happy hour sometime, like random. We hadn't spoken or anything. And I look at this. At the time, I've already stopped drinking. And I was just like, whatever. Like this, I'm thinking that he's in a relationship. So I'm like, this sleazeball. So, and for me, like something that, I really, truly take pride on is that I respect other people's relationships. And for me, I had no idea that you were divorced. So I ignored that. And then I think like a month later, I responded because I was like, well, I didn't even answer him. So I felt bad. And I was like, I'm just not in a happy hour mood.
Yeah. And I was like, woof.
Yeah. And he never answered back. And then he posted something about being like, I was seeing his content. I saw that you were a great dad. I loved all the stuff that you were posting.
And we went to college together.
And we went to college together.
So we knew each other.
Yeah, so we knew each other. And I always like would see like his little videos of like, no snooze, baby, come on. Like in the morning.
With my little finger.
Yeah. So, I would just see his discipline and your work ethic. And at that time I was just like, wow, this is like very aligned to the things that I enjoy doing. And then once you posted that you were divorced, then I was more so open to like having a conversation with you. And I think that I responded, I put like hard eyes to like something of like Callie. And then we started having a conversation.
I interpreted that, CV. That was my interpretation of her basically saying, I want you to be my daddy too. That was my interpretation of hard eyes. Is that accurate? No?
No. It was just, all Callie's content is so cute. And
cute.
so I think you opened up conversation and we were going back and forth. And like right then and there, I think a couple paragraphs in, you asked me for my number.
Yeah, bro, give me the number. Listen, CV, let's talk like, about
what?
it because listen, I knew what I wanted and was striving for. And I was out of that relationship and I had been dating around, right? And I was very transparent about that. But I also knew that the individuals that I was dating, I didn't necessarily see it as like a long-term commitment. And I was pretty clear about that and open and honest to everybody that I went on dates with. But there was something about you that I really felt a strong pull that I was not only excited about like getting to know you, but like I felt that you were going to be a significant part of my life. And I truly mean that. So I took the pressure off, and this is good for the fellas who are, I guess trying to take things a little seriously. Look, Instagram is fine, But if you can't get a woman's number, then she's really not that into you. So you got to ask the question. But then also, once you get the number, I didn't want to like attack you, nonstop. And I remember like, saying good morning to you, and then it would take her 7 hours. CV
No,
to
but
get
like,
back.
let's go back to that same day that I gave you my number. This was like fast forward in January when we
Yeah.
had this conversation. That same day, I believe, or I think you texted me the next day. It was either or. But then you asked me to go out with you, like right then and there.
Yeah, absolutely. What are we waiting for?
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was just giving you my number so that we can be like friends or something.
So you thought. So she thought, CV. But I will say this.
Yeah.
As we were talking, so yes, I knew that, okay, look, now we're talking and I want to catch up with you. And she was like, and I could see that she was iffy. And I'm like, listen, this is not a date. It's a catch up. Do you like steak? She was like, I love steak. I said, cool. So we'll go to catch steak on a Sunday afternoon. Yep.
Yeah.
That was my thing. On a Sunday afternoon. So there's no pressure of like a Saturday night and
almost
this
said
and
no.
that. She wanted to tell me no. Her phenomenal cousin,
Yeah.
shout out to Shandy.
I like FaceTime her. I was like, this guy I went to high school with, he wants to go out to dinner, college. Yeah, he wants to go out to dinner and on a date. And she was like, you have to go. Even if, because I was someone who I was very closed off to dating. My previous relationship was just very toxic. I feel like on both ends too, just because I definitely stayed longer than I should have. I saw the signs and, we still want to stay, whether it's our ego telling us, like, whatever it was. But I was just very focused on myself at that time. I really just wanted to work. I was still focusing on releasing my book. And so I just was not in the headspace to date. I was not in the headspace to, I was talking to like a guy who I mentioned on our first date. But yeah, I think that what took the pressure off was the fact that you said that we would go on a catch up. So then I was just like, okay, fine.
Yeah. So we end up actually getting to catch steak. And I get there first because I knew she was going to be a little late. I mean, that's standard.
How do you know?
Standard for a female. And I actually called her and I said, hey, like it's the middle of the city. Like you want me to park your car for you? Just like as an offering, you know what I mean? And she was like, no, like it's okay. Don't worry about it. And then like I remember her walking in and I remember like giving her like one like straight on hug and then like a side hug. I had a beanie on with like a trench coat. And I was like, you smell delicious. It is so good to see you. And I had felt like I already like knew you at this time. But mind you, I would be texting her when I would read the messages and it would take her between 3 and 7 hours to respond. And I would call her on it and just say, hey, look, I'm going to continue to respond when I see it. I don't want you to feel any level of pressure to respond. You can respond whenever you want. And I was really genuine about that. And that went on for a couple days.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I was very honest with you and letting you know that I was a little bit nervous about the whole dating thing.
Yep.
And letting you also know that I wasn't a good texter. But I do think if you make time for that, it can be improved. But you were really so okay with it. You didn't apply pressure. You weren't like, why are you not answering me? In a sense, you were just like, listen, like, it's okay. I understand. I'm still going to reply to you whenever it is that I see your message. Whereas in previous times, it was just like a constant, like whenever we would talk to a guy, it would be like, they would take long to respond. I would take long to respond. It was like a constant back and forth of just games.
You took an hour. I took an hour and a half.
Exactly.
No, you took an hour.
But you were very straightforward with like, listen, like, I don't care, but I'm still going to reply when I see your stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think the intention is important with that stuff, right? And the same way I go about my business or, taking care of my body was the same way that I address that. If I'm genuinely interested in you, there's no real need for those types of games. There's room for other games, right? You don't have to disclose everything right up front. But if I'm trying to court somebody, why would I not communicate with you when I saw and read your messages? And honestly, I was pretty upfront, like, hey, look, today's really not that busy for me. Like, if I have a meeting or something, you'll know, but I actually leave my read receipts on to hold me accountable. So when I read it, I'm going to reply to you. You know what I mean? So I didn't feel that there was any level of need. Something that is very important to share here was this feeling and this calling that I had prior to going on this first date. Mm-hmm. And looking back, I wish that I ended up pulling the trigger on this thought, but I didn't. Mm-hmm. But I shared it with you, and I'll share it with everybody else. So I remember walking out of my house, and I have a mirror right in front of my door. And I remember looking in the mirror, one, being like, damn, boy, you fly. But then two, something told me to take out my phone and record a video and let this girl know that I'm going to marry her. And then I thought to myself, all right, God, look, I just got divorced. Like, I'm not really trying to go down that road, but there's something about this woman that I know she's going to be in my life, but I don't want to jinx it. So I actually didn't do that. But I think I told you that on like the second date that I had that thought. And I do believe that God knows, you know, and throughout that first date, I mean, it was the best date that I've ever been on. I think the pressure again was removed because it was 5:30 on a Sunday. And one of my vivid memories of that date was the waiter coming over and asking for a drink, what you want to drink. And at this time we hadn't really discussed it. And you said a virgin mojito. And I looked at you and I'm like, why did you get a virgin mojito? She's like, oh, I stopped drinking like 6 or 7 months ago. And I just looked up and I was like, thank you, Jesus, because I'm on day 16 of this 30-day journey and I want to keep going. And it was like so inspiring to have that spark of alignment right from the jump, right?
Yeah. And I think that was also really cool, and just knowing that you were not drinking at the time, just because for me, I mean, we haven't even had a drink ever together, which I think is crazy.
We've been at the same parties in college having drinks, but never in our adult years.
In our relationship have we ever had a drink together. But I think that took the pressure off of just, you know, because obviously in the past whenever I had gone on a date, which I never went, you were the first date I actually went on since I ended my relationship. But prior to that, it's like you take a drink to take a loose off the edge. Like it just, you don't, you know, and having you not also drink, I found that very attractive.
Yeah. And we went through it together because I'm sure we were both nervous, you know, and like feeling all the things. But, you know, I then remember that first date. We opened the place and we closed the place. Yeah. It was the first reservation at 5:30 and we didn't leave till 11 o'clock at night. And they kicked us out of like the main dining room. We went to the bar area. And we were sitting down talking about everything. And I think a lot of people, they waste time on dates. Whereas, we spent 5-6 hours together, but we knew that we were going to make a decision to either continue to see each other or like not right there because of what we discussed. We discussed the past relationships, past trauma for both of us, past mistakes that we've both made. We really like aired it out because I respect your time. Right. And I think individuals in their 30s who are out here dating, you got to respect people's time, and just dragging people along is something that I kind of did in the past as well. So I kind of learned my lesson. But I do remember her also telling me she was talking to some dude. And then she was like, oh, he's going to be coming out here in 3 weeks. I said, well, you better tell him not to come out here because we're going on a second date.
This is on the first date,
We're going on
I'm
a
like,
second date, a third
about?
date. He's flying in for what? Where's he flying from? What are you doing? So cancel that one. And it's funny, I was actually talking to her like this, and she knows my personality, but I was very much like this, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm like, this guy's crazy.
But I like
love
him. He's crazy, but I love him. For the past 5 years, I've trusted Kai Vision Studio with my podcast. And every time, Claudio delivers an exceptional experience. The setup here is flawless. Professional lighting, crystal clear audio, and a custom set that makes every episode look elite. As someone who speaks on leadership, I know how important it is to show up with clarity and confidence. This studio allows me to do just that. The quality here isn't just about the equipment, it's about the environment. Claudio has created a space where I can focus on my message, knowing the production will be sharp, engaging, and professional. In a world flooded with content, standing out matters. And having a studio like this gives me the edge to produce videos and podcasts that truly connect with my audience. If you're serious about creating high quality content, I can't recommend Kai Visions enough. Claudio makes you feel at home, yet delivers at the highest level. 5 years in, I'm not going anywhere else. All right, so that's really how the first date kind of went about, and I wanted to take some time to obviously touch on that to lay the foundation. Then, fast forward to us dating for about a year and a half, and then shifting into moving in, right? So the thing that's very unique here, and I'm going to pull these questions, but I'm trying to lay the timeline. Overnight, you essentially become a mother on top of being in like a new relationship, right? And that part has to be hard. So 2 questions came in, and it said, how do you two approach co-parenting challenges, and how do you both navigate being parents to Cali Girl? And I want you to kind of jump in here.
What was it?
Yeah, so how do you both approach co-parenting challenges?
Okay.
And how do you both navigate being parents to Cali Girl? So really anything on the parenting journey that you want to discuss.
Okay. Well, I think that, I'll start off by saying I was and I think that I mentioned this even on the first date to you, that I was just like so closed off. I never saw myself fully staying in New York. So like for me, that was like a big no-no. And in my mind, prior to dating you, I was very head set on never dating someone who has a child. For a simple fact that, you hear so many stories out there with like baby daddy, baby mama drama, like all of these things. And I mean, that's like the complete opposite, obviously, of what it is that we have. I think that all parties, and I have nothing but respect for Callie's mom and vice versa. And it has allowed me to look at this in such a different lens. It was, I think, more so challenging with the fact that the sacrifices that I had to make, where it's like once I moved in, I woke up the next day and I was now in like mom mode. Like my life completely shifted. I didn't get pregnant. I didn't carry a baby. I didn't like mentally become prepared to step in the role of like, okay, now you're a mom. You have these responsibilities, which I think we handle that pretty well.
It was tough,
but
though.
it was very tough. It was very challenging, I think, for me in a sense. And nothing like I love Callie. I adore her. I think it was just more so my time with like navigating certain things where I was so used to just being focused on myself. And now like helping, because of course, like women are nurturers, and I want to, when you're giving Callie a shower, like I want to take the load off and be able to like help you with certain things. So I think in a sense, and he was always like, babe, like if you want to continue like building your stuff and like you don't have to be doing the things. But I think that for me, it's like, well, I want to be doing those things. And I want to also be doing the other things that I had planned. Yeah. So I think that it was challenging within just figuring out how to do it all, still continue to work on the things that I'm most passionate about, while also now, being a bonus mama.
Yeah. Looking back, I remember, so this happened in waves, obviously, because for the first year and a half, we were kind of come and go. You'd stay over. I'd come to Long Island, vice versa. You did the majority of the traveling.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest on that. But we would have Callie some weekends, and then we wouldn't have Callie some weekends because the way the schedule was set up, it's a 50-50 split. So like sometimes we would have her and sometimes we wouldn't. So it was that, and that was really, I would say, easy in a sense. But the piece that I think I messed up on, and we had a couple serious conversations, and I remember one specifically where we were actually crying about it because I guess I was in a frustrated, animated mode, and then you kind of like just like broke down and was basically like, look, I understand that you're a father and I respect this, but also I need you to look at this from my lens.
Yeah.
And it was kind of when you had first moved in and you were basically saying what you're saying now, you turned into a full-time mother like overnight, because now you're living in the same space, right? We're all in the same space. So now there is no break like that.
Right.
And that part is something that I want to apologize for, and also, really let anybody out there know that if you are in that situation, both parties do need to really communicate. And at times, because it was my norm, I failed to realize that it was something so new for you, because you went 30 years of your life not worrying about a kid. And that's
Right.
fine. You're not wrong for that. But I have been a father now for the past couple of years. So my norm and standards when it comes to, not my standards, my norm when it comes to parenting was just so different. And I did not understand the severity of that.
Yeah. And I think it's more so, I think what was more challenging was like from the first day I told you I love to travel. And like, for me, it's like I was used to going to all these places that require way longer travel time than 5 hours. He will only do 5 hours. Whereas like I
don't like planes, man.
have
you see
been
these knees?
to a lot of places, Dubai, Taiwan, London, Hong Kong, Africa. I enjoy traveling. And so I felt like a part of me had to sacrifice, because now I also have to consider the fact that you do have a daughter and you can't just pick up and leave whenever you want, like I was used to. And even with like moving, I never saw myself living in New York. And so I felt like I was sacrificing. I think I started to feel it more when I moved in, because it was like a part of me was like, I don't even want to live in New York. Like I'm sacrificing all these things that I do want for a relationship. And these are for you. I didn't feel like you were really seeing it from my lens and all the things that I sacrificed.
I didn't. And this is important, because the way you're explaining it now is the same way you explained it to me, like pretty much verbatim, maybe with some teary, drippy eyes.
Yeah, emotional.
But that was the first time I really understood what you were saying. Because anybody listening to this podcast is like, wow, like, yeah, you sacrificed a whole lot.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I didn't see any of that, because we didn't necessarily communicate it clearly like this. And then when you like, CV, you're sitting there right now and you're like, oh, wow, she sacrificed a lot to kind of get into this, right? And he's shaking his head. He doesn't want to get on YouTube. That's fine. No. But clear communication is so, so important. And I think in relationships, we miss so many opportunities to really sit down and explain what it is that you're feeling, despite any emotion that's coming in. And I would say from that moment, I think our relationship shifted.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, because I think a part of me started, and it's something that I didn't want, but I think that low-key I was starting to develop resentment.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why also therapy is so important, because I was able to unpack this with my therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to, in a sense, I didn't realize why I was also feeling frustrated until I started to mention all of these things to her, and she was like, wow, you're sacrificing a lot. Like, what is he sacrificing? And so for me, it's like, that's when I didn't like come to you. I think something had happened, and then I just like broke down. It was like, you were like, wow.
Tell me how you really feel.
Yeah.
No,
but I think we've grown so much from that. And I think that I've also realized that although, yeah, I have sacrificed a lot, it's all been worth it. Because then it also weighs the other side of the scale, where it's like, you're an amazing man. Not only are you an amazing man, but how you treat me within the relationship, how you show up for me, and all of those things I also wanted. And I think that outweighs, and I'm sure we will still be able to travel and be able to do those things. Maybe I can convince you to go on a longer flight that's longer than 5 hours. Or that's, longer than like 4 or 5 days. But I think that all of those things are going to come with time. And at the end of the day, I would choose you as opposed to like those other things.
Aw. CV, did you want to jump in there? Or no, I see you mic'd up.
No, I just...
You want to be ready?
You called me out, so I put the mic on me, yeah.
Yeah, but CV could vouch for this, and Mike Pirelli too. I remember when I first went on the date, how excited. Do you remember?
Yeah, of
like
course.
how excited I was to really just get into this relationship.
Yes, of course.
I was very transparent with my guys then. All right, cool. This next question says, how do you make everything work? job, gym, entrepreneurship, events, children, and more. What's the messaging and communication between the two of you so there's support and understanding?
Okay. Do you wanna?
Yeah, go ahead. No, I'll jump in after you.
How do we make it all work?
How do we make it all work? And I guess how we support one another and what that communicate. We touched on it a little bit, but like how that communication really looks in the relationship. Because one thing I think you're phenomenal at is understanding all of the responsibilities that I do have and the obligations. And you don't only understand, you actually support it
Right.
in a way that I've never seen it before. You know what I mean? And I mean that. You know, so I think this is a phenomenal question. So touch on, I guess, the messaging and communication in a partnership when there's so much going on.
Yeah, I think that, I am very understanding that, you're building this massive men's leadership, community that you have going on. And I feel like we both have really big goals. And I think I'm able to understand it's because like I also get the same respect and encouragement and support from you. And which is, I think, what's something that we do really well at is just lifting one another up in the visions that we have for ourselves and for like our relationship in general. But I know that all of what you're doing when it comes to work and everything is for the betterment of your future, of our future. And why wouldn't I be supportive of that? I feel even when it comes to communication, I feel you do really great, honestly, when it comes to communicating.
Well, play that back. Put it up louder, CV.
Communicating, like,
no.
hold on.
Put that camera on her and let her say that again for the people in the back, baby.
No, I think you do really well at communicating with like whatever it is that you have going on. I have never felt like this man's shady. If he's in a meeting and I call him and I don't know he's in a meeting, he'll pick up and be like, hey, babe, like I'm in a meeting right now. Like, you do all the little things that may be little to someone, but I think that they're big for me because of what I've experienced in the past.
Stop right there. It's important to understand. I'm talking to you, the listener. She was very transparent about certain traumas that have gone on in your past relationship. So I heard that early on, and I did feel, because I don't believe I ever used to pick up phone calls in meetings like that. I really didn't. But also now it's my duty and my obligation. Now, again, if it's an emergency meeting, like I can't just do that. But, 8 times out of 10, it's not that serious. I'm just in a regular meeting and I could just say, hey, babe, like, let me call you back. And what that does for your female and your partner is that gives them real proof of you hearing. Like, I heard what you were saying. And those are the things that throughout all my past relationships, I never had any concept of, I never took seriously. And you're the first one that I've really, done that for. And I think I reap the benefits of it because of what you're now saying like publicly. And you will tell me all the time, you're like, look, you're not perfect by any means. By any means, you're not perfect, boy. But you do communicate well. And those little things that you're saying, I had to, as a man, say like, you know what, to me just, missing that call and then texting you back 20 minutes, hey, babe, sorry, I was in a meeting. That's the way most of us operate. But if you have somebody that's articulated to you that, hey, this is a real thing, the only way to really support that partner is to change the behavior. So I took that and then changed it to, if it's ringing, guys, excuse me 1 second. Hey, babe, I'm in a meeting. I'll call you back. Click. Just so you can at least know. So those little things I think get overlooked at times by guys because we look at it as a burden versus just like addressing it in the issue and then moving on. So I'm sorry to cut you off though.
No, but I was like I was saying, I think you do a really good job at that. And I think it's just like communicating what our day-to-day looks like, whether I already have your calendar for your men's dinners, like whatever it is on my calendar, just so like I am aware and I know the same way that you send me Cali when we have Cali. So like that I can also adjust, like know when it is that we do have her. So I think you just do a really good job at communicating, which is why I think this all works when it comes to juggling everything that we have going on. I think we also do really well at, you want to go to the gym early, you wake up earlier so you can go, and then I'll go after, especially on the weekends when Callie's not at school or, so I think in just like making sure that we're both still prioritizing our like self-care and our needs for ourselves so that we can show up better within the relationship, which I think is something we do really well at.
Yeah, what's been challenging for me is making sure that I'm as supportive to you as you are to me.
Yeah.
So I always try to encourage you to, I know you got a couple things in the works that are going to come out in terms of like the entrepreneurial journey, but I'm always trying to encourage you to continue to do, even though it would benefit me selfishly if you didn't, because you'd probably have more time to do other things.
Right.
But it's super important to give that back in the relationship. And I don't agree with 50-50 energies. I think it's 100, or whatever the max is that you can give to that person. But that was actually hard for me because I'm like, damn, it would be easier like if she just didn't do all these other things and she kind of wanted to sit back. But that's not the case. So it has to work both ways. But the communication, I mean, that's something that I don't think ever you get to a place where you just can be complacent. Like one thing that was huge too is letting her in on conversations, like even with my daughter's mother, right? Like there would be times that like I'd be texting and all it takes to make your significant other comfortable is saying like, hey, I'm just talking to so-and-so. This is what was discussed. Like, do you have any questions on this? Because one thing I think I was bad at, and men in general, we're bad at this, is remembering things. I don't know if you can relate, CV, but if there's something, shaking that head, that's right. But like if something happens at 10 o'clock in the morning, by the time I get home at 6 o'clock and I'm talking to you about it, and then it comes up a day later, we've just given them the ammo to be like, well, why didn't you tell me at 10 o'clock when it happened?
I have a great memory.
Oh,
okay.
This does not work in my favor. Go
I
ahead.
have a great memory. So if you tell me something and then it like switches, what I'm be like, but you said this like 2 days ago.
Yep.
So yeah, he's very on point with like.
But it wasn't always that way.
Yeah, no.
And I think you had
But
to.
I think communicating, just because I think that for me, it's like, okay, if I'm going to be in a relationship, this is what I need. This is what I will tolerate. This is what I want in order for my mental sanity and my peace. And I think that in the beginning you struggled with it because it's like you weren't used to it, but I think you started to understand that this was also very new for me.
Yes.
I've also have never been in a relationship like this, and I think you learning to understand that was when you also started providing certain things that I also needed.
Yes. Shout out to Boundless Nutrition, because if you're serious about your health, your performance, and your lifestyle, this place is a game changer. Boundless Nutrition is a hub for people who refuse to live average. We're talking ready-to-go healthy meals for busy professionals, sports performance supplements, vitamins you can trust, training gear, and the best protein shake bar around. So whether you're chasing strength, fat loss, endurance, or just trying to feel better day to day, they've got you covered. And let me say this, Amanda and the entire Boundless team are incredible, knowledgeable, welcoming, and genuinely invested in helping you win. If you're in Westchester County, New York, stop by 54 Washington Avenue in Pleasantville and experience it for yourself. You can tell them you're a friend of Dave's and find them on Instagram at Boundless Nutrition NY. Because at the end of the day, change your lifestyle, change your life. Now, back to the epic. Let's get spicy for a second.
Sure.
Standards and boundaries.
Oh, yeah.
This was huge. So the Dave Regina way of doing things my whole life was anger, resentment, name calling, verbal abuse, essentially what you're talking about. And there was probably 1 or 2 times that like I slipped up, or 3,
Or 4.
slipped up in a whoa, you counting a lot. But you got
But
trigger
it's been
fingers
2
too.
years.
You got trigger fingers too,
Yes,
yo. You like ba 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 ba.
After the fact.
So there was like, I remember one point, it was a big turning point in the relationship where we had gotten in some stupid fight. Every fight is stupid, by the way. It just doesn't make
So
any sense.
stupid.
So stupid. And we're sober-minded, so our fights happen very less frequently because there's never any alcohol to, cloud the judgment. But I'm very stubborn. She's very stubborn. We're both strong human beings. We're both Scorpios. So there's a lot of energies going on. But I remember either calling you something or referring to you as something. And once we came back from that fight, you sat me down and you were like, listen, I don't know what you're used to, but I'm telling you right now that I'm not going to tolerate any level of disrespect in this relationship. And at that moment, I remember my initial feelings being like, girl, what's up? Like, let's fight. But I said, no, I want to be different. And I want to change. And these are the opportunities that now as men we have to control the emotion. Talk about that time a little bit, if you can recall.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever you want to share. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I remember that. It was like the name calling, like the disrespecting, or like even the raising the voice.
That's what I think it was.
It was a mixture of all. And for me, it's like I had to sit you down and let you know that, one, if we're going to be together, that I was not going to tolerate that. And it wasn't a you thing. It was something that I don't tolerate from anybody in my life, whether it's friends, family. Like, so if you're the partner that I get to choose to be with for the rest of my life, why would I choose to be with someone who decides to disrespect me? And for me, it's I've built such a standard for myself that like I'm okay with like walking away. Yeah, I'll miss you, but for me, it's like you either provide this for me or you're not the one for me. And I think that when I was very clear on that boundary to you, you haven't done it since. But I think that as females, sometimes we get like we tolerate more than we should for a simple fact that we love the person and we want to make it work. Whereas, like, I think that that's a big mistake because then you end up resenting the person, the relationship. You're not communicating what it is that you need out of the relationship, which is when the relationship goes down south. Because had I not said that to you, you probably would still be doing what you were doing.
And not that we still don't fight, and I still do raise my voice a little bit, but it's the tone that's much different. And I'm not attacking your character. I'm attacking the situation that I don't agree with.
Yes, exactly.
Which is a major difference.
Right, because it shouldn't be you versus me. It should be us versus the problem. And once there's an attack in character and an attack in like the way you're speaking to me and disrespecting me, and then that's no longer like your point is no longer valid.
Right.
So I think, and for me, I think that once you lose respect, I think you lose respect by calling out names and speaking in a way that, you know, diminishes a person's character. And so for me, I think that how we do well now is by you'll speak on how you feel. I'll speak on how I feel, but we're not attacking each other because you're going to call me a name. Now I'm going to call you a name. And where did...
No. If I call you a name, she's coming with 17 names, bro. And I'm like, but how is that okay? And she's like, but you did it first.
Yeah.
But yes, go ahead. Continue.
But yeah, I think that was super important for me. There were certain things, I think due to my past, it allowed me to really know what was it that I would allow, what would I know, like not tolerate. And I think that me communicating that to you has really made the difference.
It opened the door for just a complete transformation in our relationship.
Yeah.
And also allowed the transparency of what we were not happy with one another. For you, it was that. And for me, the attitudes I was pretty open about. And then also the level of like affection, I think at times, right?
Yeah.
And the one thing you don't want to do when she's saying, hey, you could do this better, you don't want to be like, but you could do this better. So I remember us processing this. And then at another time, we had a serious conversation about that. Like, look, do you, what just fell? Oh, my book. Oh, do you really want to be here or not? Because sometimes it feels as though, I don't know, that's good? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
It feels as though maybe you don't. And then she was like, wow, okay, like, let me look at my attitudes. And she realized that, like, you know, she was just living like a stressful life, like the commute, leaving the house at 5 a.m, getting home at 7:30 at night. Like all of the stresses of life really was carrying over into the relationship. And I think we both did a good job at receiving the other individual's request to take a look at ourselves. And the best lesson I think you've ever taught me, and I've used it 100,000 times since you've said it to me, is when emotions are high, intelligence is low. Now, if anybody can really understand that, your life will change.
Right.
Because the second emotions come into play, your intelligence goes out the window.
Yeah.
So now what we try to do is limit that time under tension. And we have a standard in our house that disagreements are okay, but disrespect is not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I think that's helpful for people to try to implement in their own relationship as they move forward.
Yeah, and I think that you're someone who really likes to like get to the problem like right then and there, whereas you are not. Like for me, it's I need time, and when I explain like to you the whole when emotions are high, intelligence is low. It's like for me, I truly believe that I need the time
Because I'm gonna curse you out. Right now.
right, and I don't ever want to come out of character and then regret saying something that I didn't mean just because my emotions were all over the place. I don't want to ever, it's like that toothpaste analogy that once you squeeze out from the toothpaste, your words are like that. So once you squeeze it out, how hard is it to put that toothpaste back into the tube?
Can't do it.
And so for me, it's like I need time. And I think that you kind of struggled with that a little bit, not understanding that because you really like to attack it head on, talk about it right, even though like I'm very angry, you still want to talk about it right then and there. And I had to learn how to also communicate with you. It's like, listen, like I love you, but right now is not the time. Just give me a minute. And you've understood that. And I think that works well for us because if we're so much, I feel like we don't even fight.
Yeah, I know.
To be honest,
we're
perfect.
No.
We do have like little stupid bickerings here and there, but from the beginning of the relationship, I feel like we had like bigger blowouts, and that not that they were frequent, but
a good blowout is good every once in a
you
while.
always say that, but I think that I think that those blowouts were needed in order to get to where we are today and to learn more about each other, because ultimately we've been together for 2 years, but we need to learn how we argue, how to communicate better, how we can be better for one another. So.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up this episode here, and we're going to do a part 2.
Okay.
But I want to end with one final question.
Yeah.
What would you tell the girl who has been in a bad relationship or been in bad relationships in her past? What would you say to her to let her know that, like, hey, there is somebody out there for you?
I think what I would tell her to focus on herself. I would tell her to walk away. You will only regret not walking away sooner. I will tell her to build herself up and pray, talk to God, get really specific and clear on what it is that you want. I don't recommend going around dating around to seeing what's out there, because ultimately you need to see your time as valuable. And if you don't see this going, like I feel like when you talk to a person, whether you see them as like maybe something you're aligned with, maybe someone that you're aligned with or not. So stop wasting your time like dating around. Your time is going to come. Don't be so desperate to be in a new relationship. Use this time to focus on yourself, to build yourself so that you can be the person that the same qualities that you're looking for in another person, you can be that match to that person that you're looking for. Because what I don't like is when women have lists of all of these things that they want. Someone who goes to the gym, someone who's disciplined, someone who eats healthy, someone who is a hard worker, but then they're none of those things themselves. So it's like, write that list, become that list, and God will place that person in your life when you're ready for it.
Oh, that's fire. Let everybody know where they can find you and connect with you on Instagram or any platforms.
You can find me on Instagram, Katie L. Cepeda. Oh, right there. Katie L. Cepeda. I actually just changed my handle. So it's KATIELCEPEDA. And then my TikTok is Katie Cepeda. And yeah, my YouTube's Katie Cepeda. So
Beautiful. All right, guys, listen, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. As always, you could shop the latest merch at nosnoozeshop.com. We ask that you support this movement that's going on with my new book called 30 Lessons to Lead.
Fire.
All right? Fire,
It's
baby.
fire.
It's the best leadership playbook out. So listen, we want to wish you guys a good week and tune in next week for part 2 with Katie, my queen, Cepeda. And until next time, stop snoozing.
Get up and get after it.
Part 2 coming soon. Thank you guys for tuning in. That's another epi in the books. You can follow us on Instagram at No Snooze Podcast and leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, No Snooze. Shop the latest merch at nosnoozeshop.com. Come on.